Hello everyone and welcome back to the Locked In Podcast. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Richard.
Yeah, we still haven't got Dan back, so we've got this degenerate. Yeah, football news, transfer news, interesting stories. Nothing really to report from the football world because fuck all's happened because it's off season. So other than me losing £67 to MUTV to watch a 0-0 draw against Leeds, that wasn't much fun. Fucking Man United. Yeah, well, at the minute I'm funding our next signing. Because, yeah, £67 they took off me, pricks. Anyway, yeah, in the news from today, Pervis Estupiñán.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen...
The fullback?
Yeah,
Yep.
for Brighton, has moved to AC Milan.
Really?
For £17 million.
Whoa. He was good. At one point, he was quite highly rated, but I feel that was sort of 2-3 years ago. He was sort of more mentioned, but sort of seeing him now seems a lot of money.
I don't know, I think it's quite cheap, really, for sort of a dependable...
How old?
He'd be late
29.
He'd be late 20s, 27, 28, I think, because he was at Watford before, I remember him. But what it made me think is, to bring it back to my team, why the fuck didn't Man United go for him? They are in desperate need of a left-back. And apparently it's come out today that apparently Shaw's leaving. Or trying to tout a move. Who would touch him with a 10-foot barge pole? I don't know.
I don't know how you do a transfer on someone like that. I mean, when was the last time he played? England?
No. He played towards the end of last season.
Okay.
A few games. But he just... The thing is, he's been there for 11 years. And he's spent 5.5 years injured. Literally.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. When you look at it, I saw a breakdown recently of like how much he's been paid to be injured. And it's just astronomical, isn't it? You know, it's just mega money. And he just never, I don't know why, just doesn't seem like he really wants to get on the pitch.
It seems like he wants to be fit for the big games, the finals, the Euros, all these sorts of things, but can't be bothered to do the grunt work that gets you to the finals, which is no good for a team that's on a rebuild. I mean, the guy's 28 now, 29, so he's coming towards the end for a fullback. So,
but he's earned a lot of money,
he has.
From a work point of view, he's still done all right for himself.
Oh, he's done fine for himself.
You know, and that's the sad thing because, you know, when United signed him, he was such a bright talent. You know, and looked like he could be one of the top left backs.
He was.
Yeah.
When he's fit, when he was fully fit and he was playing every week, he was probably top 2 or 3 left backs in the world.
Yeah.
And he was, just because of the consistency. But the problem was, is he broke his leg. And it was all downhill from there.
But some people, you know, have those kind of injuries and bounce back and you know, do better. I remember, obviously, Modric, when we signed him at Spurs, he obviously broke his leg very early in the move, and I saw him. He talked about it and said it was.
Was that the Aaron Ramsey one?
It could have been. This going back now, I can't remember who actually tackled him, but you know, he said that it was one of the best things that happened to his career because it meant that he spent the time in the gym and he bulked up a bit because he was small when we signed him, you know, and he bulked up and did the gym work, did the rehab, and then obviously, you know, the rest is history. Went on to become one of the, you know, greatest midfielders
ever. I would say he's probably
got to be top 5.
I don't know about top 5 ever, but he's probably in the top 15. I would say.
I can't see many people, you know, and even now at his age, you know, he's still doing it. You know, like last year.
Milan.
Yeah, and I think that's an incredible because I thought he may have gone Saudi. I thought that might have been a move that sort of appealed to him, but I think...
I thought either that, because I imagine he's mint, do you know what I mean? He's played at Madrid for a million years, so he's going to be well off. So I had the feeling he was going to go back to a Croatian team and do a bit of that, do you know what I mean?
A bit like Perisic did. He went back to his first team, didn't he?
But I kind of rate the fact that he still backs himself at 38 to play in a very, very competitive team.
Yeah.
So,
and I think he'll do really well. That slightly slower pace in Italy, just giving him time on the ball, like the passing range the man has. And I don't think there's many better outside of the foot passers than him. I can't think of many. I mean, I know you love Paul Scholes, and I don't know if Paul Scholes had that in him.
Outside of the foot. No, that wasn't his game. But.
You know, Yeah, but I just think, Modric is outside of the footballs, those disguised passes was just second to none, really. But
a bit like David Silva with a reverse pass.
Yeah.
They were just unbeatable.
Yeah, he's just unplayable.
Yeah. But, no, fair play to him. He's gone to Milan as well. Milan seem to be building quite a good team, really. Did you see Evan Ferguson made his debut today?
Yes.
For Roma, he's got a hat-trick in 24 minutes.
Yeah, it's...
I know it's pre-season, but...
Yeah, but I think that's where it starts, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you look at how many players don't have a pre-season, and it takes them 5-10 matches, league time, to get up and running.
Yeah.
You know, so you get that firing in pre-season, and you're good to go. First match, straight out of the gates, which is always nice.
Just hope he's not a pre-season Pirlo, because Man United had probably the best pre-season Pirlo in history, which was Pereira.
Yeah.
The one that's at Fulham now.
Yeah.
He looked like the second coming of Jesus Christ in pre-season, and then would do nothing when the season started. It was so annoying. Yeah. Hopefully it goes well. I think we've got to talk about it. I know we've just been talking to a colleague about it for the last 25 minutes.
Yes. It's got to come.
Ekitike, whose name I found out is a palindrome.
Okay.
His Ekitike is the same backwards as forwards.
Yeah.
That's about the only good thing I have to say. I think it is an egregious overpay. I remember thinking it when Man United were linked to him for exactly the same amount of money. I said it then, and I maintain it. 80 million for a player who's scored 19 goals in 50 games.
22 goals. We just checked.
League. I'm talking about league.
15 league goals. Last season he got 15
last
league
I'm
goals.
on about in total.
Okay.
There wasn't 50 league games last season. 19 goals in 50 league appearances.
Yeah,
and
but last season he did
constitutes 70 million apparently.
He did get 8 assists last season as well. 15 league goals, 8 assists last season. I don't know. What do you all think? Do you think 80 million for that is worth it? A 23-year-old, he has potential. You have to, the pros on it, he has potential at 23. I think it's a lot of money. I watched him against Spurs. I didn't think he had the best game, really. I think it's a lot of money.
They've paid the same amount, basically, that City paid for Marmoush, and Marmoush kept Ekitike out of the team.
You look, Arsenal have just done Gyökeres. I believe that's pretty much done now.
Not quite,
it looks like it's kind of agreed. It's just signing the final bits now, and that was, 62.5?
Something like that, yeah.
Something around that. So, and that's, I think, final price. Yeah. Give or take.
These are all unproven strikers. I'm sorry, they can do whatever they want in their own league. Until you are put into the melting pot that is the Premier League, you can be the best striker in the world. Unless it translates, it don't fucking matter.
I mean, as I was just saying to our colleague a minute ago, that my one concern with someone like Ekitike is how many games is he going to get? Because with strikers, I always believe you need to be playing week in, week out. And as I said to him is, would you have still signed him if you could have signed Isaac? Obviously, now it looks like Isaac could be on the move when he wasn't able to move before. But I just think if Ekitike only plays 15 games, the consistency isn't going to be there. Which means he's not... I just don't reckon he's going to get up, running.
It's not what you need for a young striker. We've seen that with Højlund.
Yeah. You want to be playing week in, week out, game after game. You miss a goal, you miss a goal, you miss a goal, but you get another chance, you get another chance. We did it with Harry Kane. When he had that sort of breakthrough, when he stopped going out on loans, we just played him. Week in, week out, through the good, the bad, the ugly. You play him and you say, you're our man, we back you, go and do the job. Is Ekitike going to get that at Liverpool? I don't think so. And now they're on about...
I don't think he's got the quality to lead that line. I mean...
It's a big ask.
You talk... I almost thought Chris, our colleague, was going to bring up the fact that Firmino wasn't like a world-class striker. The problem was, when they had Firmino, they had a Salah in his prime. And...
Mane.
Salah is not in his prime anymore. I'm not saying he's not effective, he is. But they're not going to have 3 or 4 seasons to build a relationship like that front three did. And that the synergy of a front three only comes when you've played together for a long time. You can put the 3 best players in the world up front, but they're not going to work straight away necessarily.
I think, Firmino just had that touch, though, didn't he? Like, he could just
Firmino
control any ball,
you
know, and a real proven finisher. And I think, this is the problem. And I think one thing to note is, Ekitike, first season wasn't the best, whatever it was, 6 goals, 7 goals. Last season, obviously, 15 league goals, 8 assists. It's not a bad return. It's not bad. It's not great, in my opinion.
Just to put it in perspective, in his first year, Rasmus Højlund got 14 goals.
Yeah.
That's
and, but it's not startling numbers. But what I'm saying is, does one season at those kind of numbers justify that price tag? And that's the question to answer. And, and is this where football is now? That, that you can't find these hidden gems or give people time to actually build their career because there aren't undiscovered gems.
Well, this is what I mean. This is what I meant by the Estupinian thing. Is like 17 million quid. Man United can afford that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's within their budget. They're always moaning that they've got no money, and they're looking at left backs. They're looking at right backs. They're looking. A player like that becomes available for that sort of money. Why are they not jumping on it?
Who is your left back for this season? Who's going to be the starting?
Well, you've got Dorgu.
Yeah.
And there's the new kid, Diego Leon. And then it's Luke Shaw.
Okay.
So they've got 3.
Didn't Dalot, he plays sort of both sides.
Mazraoui can, but you don't want them to because Mazraoui is better as an outside centre-back. And Dallow's far better on the right than he is on the left. He's still good on the left, but he's not as good.
Anis Espino, or however you pronounce his name, he plays as a Espino?
Who the fuck are you on about?
The wing back that we were just talking about. How do you pronounce his name?
Dalot.
No, from Brighton, who's just moved to AC Milan.
Estupinian,
sorry. I've absolutely butchered that one. He played a large portion as a wing back.
Yeah.
So, it would have fit straight into your system.
Yeah, well, he kept Ferdi Kadioglu out of the team, didn't he? And he looked shit up.
Yeah.
Because Man United were looking at him as well.
And I think,
And I was just like, I get it. If it's not the profile that they want to sign, or I get it. But it just does make you wonder that they've just splashed like 30 million on Dorgu. Yes, he's an up and comer. He's a talent. He's potential. But potential learns from experience.
You need some quality in that team.
Even if Dorgu is the starter, and you get whoever, an ageing left back as a backup. It's the same thing as what's happened with Højlund. That was why I was annoyed that Ronaldo left, because I wish if he could have stayed, and I don't think he would have, but if he'd have sort of melded into the coaching team and then would have stayed there, what better person to teach Højlund how to play football?
How to be in the right position, how to score goals, how to finish, how to train.
What better teacher? Do you know what I mean? And they had that. They had Zlatan, they had Ronaldo, they had Cavani. They had, they've always had this sort of talismanic, maybe outside their prime, but talismanic striker that is, I would say, as valuable off the pitch as on it. Because all 3 of those players I just named were very effective on the pitch when they were playing.
Very.
They were on the decline, but their peak was so high that even as they started to decline, they were still almost world class. But at the minute, Man United don't have that. I mean, I wouldn't want to be an up and coming striker trying to learn off Marcus Rashford. Do you know what I mean? But
he's still learning himself, isn't he?
He was the talismanic striker that they had, and he was a striker who didn't want to play striker. And it's like that's such a bad situation for Højlund to come into. Højlund was signed as a backup striker, but they couldn't get hold of the main striker that they wanted, and they still haven't managed to do it this season. They're still looking at strikers, and I saw that they've been linked with Sesko, and but I don't understand where they're getting the money from. Great if they sign him, fucking fantastic.
But is he that first team? I mean, he's
yes.
You know me.
Champions League experience.
I like Sesko. Would you not rather a 25 proven multiple season striker?
Who?
That's the question. I mean,
you've got 2 that were available. You've got Isaac, who was way too expensive, and you've got Gyökeres, who rejected them.
Million.
So those were the 2 that were available. realistically, the only other one that I've seen that is potentially available is Kolo Muani, but he's not good enough.
I mean, from what I heard the other day is that he's now around 30 million. They signed him for 100 million.
Yeah.
It was the Ekitike deal.
Yeah.
You know, to go back to it, they signed Muani for 100 million and Ekitike went for 25, 30 back the other way. And
yeah, so I think, I think there is genuine legs to the Sesko story. Whether it's, how far along they are, if they are going for him, I don't know. But obviously, the director of football at Man United is Christopher Vivell, who is heavily linked with the Red Bull Group.
Yeah.
So there is a previous relationship and communication there with Sesko. So if anyone's going to get him to leave Leipzig, I think it would be Vivell. But there's many things that need to fall into place before that deal can happen. Because Rashford has gone, but only on a loan deal, so no money's come in for him.
I think there was a loan fee.
Yeah, loan fee, but it's not 75 million. Do you know what I mean?
Have you heard what the option to buy fee is?
40, I would have thought.
24.6 million.
Oh, well, that probably... Yeah, so what it is it's probably 40 in total, because they're covering his entire wage.
Well, they are covering his entire wage, but yeah, the option to buy is around 25 million.
Yeah, so normally what will happen is it will be classed as a £40 million fee because of the loan fee, the covered wages, plus the option. But it just delays the option for a year. So I think it will be around the 40 million mark because he's on 300 and something thousand a week, which is a lot of money over a year.
The interesting thing is they still, as of yet, have not been able to register him.
No, but that's because Barcelona is run by a hamster.
It's the most bizarre football club. Like every year, it's the same thing, and they always manage to get it over the line.
Yeah,
they always manage to get these players, and I don't know how they do it because so many people, and you've had Guillaume Balaguer before talking about it, and it's like it just doesn't seem possible. And somehow it comes to the end, and it's miraculous. It's all done, and it's weird, but yeah, I don't know why. And you've got people like De Jong taking huge mispayments.
Yeah, well, he's actually reduced, hasn't he? He's on I think 150 grand a week now.
Like the whole
his first contract was 700,000 euros a week. I thought it was 400. I think I said on a previous episode that it was 400. It wasn't. It was 700,000 euros a week.
I mean, I just heard the other day Spurs linked with Rodrigo from Real Madrid. And I saw his contract.
Insane.
And it's like 240 grand a week is his basic. It's basic. 160 grand a week is his bonuses. And then 40 grand a week is some other
appearance fees and match fees.
Do you know what I mean?
Like
Yeah. You sat there going, there's not a chance in hell that Daniel Levy, the tight fist that he is going to get that bat-strewn wallet out and pay 400 grand a week to anyone.
I don't think the Spurs have ever paid anyone that.
No, I think like Harry Kane, Heung-min Son.
I think he was only on 250 though.
Yeah, and then Heung-min Son's
the best
about
striker in the world at the time, right?
195, I think, Son, somewhere around that margin now.
If he was at Man United, he'd be on about 4 million a week.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? And yeah, I mean, well, Spurs.
I think they are getting it a bit more under control, Man United. They are sorting it out slightly because, I mean, you've just signed two of probably the better players last season outside of the top sort of 4 teams. And they're each on, I think, 180 and 200,000 a week. All this bollocks of 275 grand a week from Puma, it was all bullshit. I called it at the time. Because they're trying to get it under control. They will become first teamers. And first teamers in a Premier League, in a team as rich as Man United, that's what you pay them, unfortunately. Unless you have a system like Spurs. Yeah. But they are an anomaly. But you look at how much City pay and how much, even Liverpool.
It's mad. And, I'm a big... As much as I don't like the way that Spurs run their wage bill, I am a big fan of this. You sign on a cheaper wage, you do well, you get a new contract on better terms. You do it. It just encourages players to perform. You don't end up with a Luke Shaw. Whatever. Sad that he had his injuries, and whatever happened to him. But I think some players, you look at them and they go to these teams and they go from, someone like Mbeumo, who was on, 45 grand a week at Brentford.
Whatever it was, yeah.
All of a sudden going to 200 grand a week, and it's like after your first month, you've been paid nearly £1 million, obviously minus your taxes, you're up 600,000 or 500,000 pound for a month. And you go, I'm done for the year. Do you know what I mean? Yet you're still going to get paid that every single month. Like,
I think that's what you see with players going to Saudi and things like that. But amazingly, I don't know how this is still the case, but there are players who want to better Man United because they admire the club. Now, I'm not saying Spurs don't have that, but I would say they have far less of that. There's very few foreign players who grow up dreaming about playing for Spurs.
100%.
That's not the case with Man United.
No.
You see that a lot of players,
it's
when
the
they
theatre
join,
of dreams.
They'll flash up, when they do the announcement video, they'll flash up a picture of the signing as a kid in a Vodafone Man United shirt. Do you know what I mean? You don't get that so much. Even Chelsea and City, especially City, and you don't get that. So I think that's the only reason that Man United can cling on to this, is they do still have a gravitational pull.
And I think there's probably only one other team in the world that has the pull United have, and that's Real Madrid.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think Liverpool have it. I don't even think Barcelona really have that pull. I loved watching Barcelona with Eto'o and Ronaldinho and
they're not the same team now.
And Puyol. They're not that team anymore. And I think, Real Madrid will always have that Galacticos, mindset that people dream of playing that as a pinnacle.
Well, yeah.
And United will still always have that thing of being this huge sort of club, this huge establishment.
I have also said in the last few years that the kids now, because my brother, for example, is 18 years old, and he basically, in living memory for him, hasn't seen the heyday of Man United. He was born in 2006. Man United as a team fell apart in 2012. So you're going to lose that. There's going to come a time where they only remember Man United's banter era that's been going on for the last 10 years. Yes, they've won the Europa League, they've won trophies. We're not like Spurs. We still do stuff.
We won the Europa League, thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, we've won a lot more than just the Europa League. But there's going to come a time where those players don't grow up dreaming of Man United. There will always be an eminence of Man United because, of parents and stuff like that, of footballers. But
be grandparents soon.
Well, yeah, I don't think... Do you know what I mean? I'm 27 now, and I only remember from, 2006, So I've only got about a 4 or 5 year span of where Man United were the dominant team that everyone remembers them being. It's not like... it's not been easy to be a Man United fan for the last 10 years, frankly.
Here's a question for you then. Do you honestly think that Man United will ever get back to the pinnacle of football?
100%.
You reckon? And I don't mean just win a league title. I mean be a dominant force year in, year out in Champions League, Premier League, Cups.
Yes, they will. But
Ratcliffe.
It hinges entirely on that.
But you think out.
When the Glazers and Ratcliffe go, you get an owner who is willing to put money generated by the club into the club, then that will become a money-making machine. The amount of money that team makes, the only reason they're not up there with Spurs in terms of commercial revenue is because of dividend payments and money that is sucked out by the owners.
I didn't realise any team even took dividend owners.
They are the only team in the Premier League
that would explain
that have taken
why
dividends in the last 20 years.
Yeah,
and no team does it.
Even Daniel Levy at Spurs, and we know what a tight man that is, and what a fierce negotiator he is for good and bad. Because we have seen good in some of the transfer fees, the Kane, the Bale, the Modric deals and stuff, but the negative is not being able to get the right players in off the back of those. Even if he's not taking dividends out, it speaks volumes of what's going on at Man United as being
It's something like, in dividend payments, since the Glazers took over, £1.4 billion have been taken out.
Over what time period is it?
They took over in 2003.
2003, so 22 years.
That's 70 million pound a year taken out. You think if £70 million a year had been put into transfers and upkeep of Old Trafford,
paying debts,
Carrington,
maybe.
paying the debts off, you think what would have happened? They could have paid the debt off 10 years ago.
And when you look at, do they need? I mean, nobody needs more money, but was that their sole source of income? No. Were they doing all right without taking that money out?
Yes.
And you go...
They own the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
You sit there going, what are you doing? And do they do the same with them?
No. They've just spent $250 million on a new training facility. But they can't spend it would have been about the same to repair probably the most iconic Premier League stadium.
I think now is that the problem you're at is you're getting to a point where it's getting unrepairable.
Yeah, it's ruined. They're going to have to bring it down. But that is such a sad statement. That is the most, probably behind only the Nou Camp, the most iconic stadium in the world.
Yeah, I know how sad it was watching White Hart Lane get taken down. And I know the stadium we've got now is, I've always said it's probably one of the best stadium in the world. I'll probably say, top 3 in the world, because I think there are some other stadiums that are mightily impressive now.
Did you find, though, that it lost the soul, the essence of it? Because I think when you go into these enormous bowl stadiums, to me, it feels like you're watching it on a screen or something like that.
I don't know how much you know about the obviously the building of the Spurs Stadium, but the old White Hart Lane, I don't know if you ever went there, but the old White Hart Lane Stadium had the atmosphere was always so electric because of the way it was built.
And it was right next to the pitch.
Yeah, it was trapped.
It was like Upton Park.
Yeah,
same as that.
And what they did with the new stadium is they actually got, I think he worked for the London House Orchestra. They got this sound engineer in who worked on the development of the stadium, of how to get the sound in the stadium. So it was built with some part of it to keep that volume, to keep that noise without getting it lost, because when you go bigger, it's more open, you lose some. So that is why now, and obviously with the big wall at the one end, the massive stand you've got, that's 17 or whatever thousand people in it, it just gives an electric atmosphere and somehow, because it's not far from the pitch, that was another thing that was a massive, because obviously we looked at the Olympic Stadium, which obviously West Ham went into.
They dodged a bullet there.
Do you know what I mean? And the whole thing, all of the Spurs fan, when it was put to the Spurs fans, was, we do not want it because you're too far from the pitch.
Yeah,
the new stadium had to have a small distance, and it's why they've put that curve, obviously, to get the stand, because the stadium obviously is retractable. So that's why you've got the bump bit that's a bit weird for corners and stuff.
Yeah, but Old Trafford has it as well.
Yeah, but it was done so you could get the stands so close to the pitch to keep that atmosphere, not like Arsenal where they lost everything.
I would much rather go and watch, I was going to say Oxford, but Oxford's terrible for it because it hasn't got a full stand.
It's got some open end.
I would much rather go and watch a team like that, that has the old school type of stadium. Luton. Let's lose Luton, because they are like the most ridiculous Premier League stadium in history. I'd much rather go to a game there than I would at Tottenham Hotspur or Wembley or anyone like that, because it feels like a football stadium, a football pitch. It feels like English football. It's all very, let the Americans keep the stupid high-tech stadiums. No one gives a shit. I'm not going there to go shopping. And I think that the Spurs stadium it's like a mall. It's like a shopping centre with a football pitch in it.
And by the way, Spurs, if you watch this, please feel free to send us a couple of hospitality tickets and we'll go and we'll make an honest opinion of it.
No, fuck that. I won't go there.
But honestly, I think there are a lot of pros with the stadium, though. You have got the massive long bar, which is such a statement piece, like one of the longest bars in the world. That is an incredible thing to experience. The glass tunnel that brings that live action if you're lucky enough to get a seat near there. It is incredible And, you know, that stadium, it is something else and has been built purposely for football, for keeping everything in and for the immersion of it. But I know what you mean. There is something about, I remember taking my son to watch the Lionesses, actually, when they played at Swindon. I don't like Swindon. I don't like
We're from Oxford.
anything to do with Swindon, but that's where they were playing. He was young. He wanted to watch England, and you know, at the time it's very hard to get England tickets at Wembley, and he was young, so we went and we watched the Lionesses. This was when they were sort of first coming through as the force that they are now, and we watched them at Swindon, and just having everyone stood on top of each other, and that, you know, stood shoulder to shoulder in the trenches with everyone singing, you know, cheering.
It's different.
It's
completely different.
yeah, and I hope, you know, that one day we can get safe standing back, and we can get, you know, people just in stadiums watching it, because, you know, I see clips of stuff from, you know, the 60s and the 50s and that, and you see them stadiums packed full of people that are all shoulder to shoulder, and it's just incredible.
It was a working man's sport.
Yeah.
And it, you know, it's completely losing that because just because of the sheer amount of money involved.
Yeah.
And it's naturally going to happen, but I don't necessarily think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And on that somber note, it's time to end. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.